Look at this beautiful city. A little on edge after a Mavericks loss, but still beautiful nonetheless. Anyone bummed out after the Mavs? Tune into the Suns, watch them. I did watch that game, yeah. Suns are good, man. I think really good. We got a busy day ahead of us, folks. We'll talk about some of the games last night. Not going to spend too much time on some of them. I missed the entire game. I was at a wedding rehearsal. What happened? Luka asked now. Yeah, Luka fucking sucked in the first 3 quarters of the game. But played really well in the fourth quarter. Hopefully that gets him going. I don't know. Spent a little bit of time talking about each game last night, but we're gonna do something different today. We're gonna go over each team in the league, look at where they are in the standings currently, look at the record, and say whether or not we think that they'll be higher, they'll be lower, or it's just right. You know, sometimes you just look at a team and it's like, yeah. That sounds right. I think I got called. I think I got a little taste of what Sally goes through. I got called a fucking douchebag for saying I'm tired of Luka crying. Yeah, dude. Stop being a douchebag. Stop being a douchebag, bro. Tuning locked on. Hoping to watch Slightly Demolish Luka. Still waiting. I don't get like demolish Luka. I don't understand that. Like, what are we not allowed to say that he? I don't understand it. Like, we say, yeah, Luka. Luka, he's got to start game stronger, man. He can't come out this slow. He's got to figure it out and get going. Everyone says, no, you can't say that, dude. And then Luka comes out in the press conference. Yeah, I got to start game stronger. It's like, oh, okay. What do we get out of demolishing Luka? Nobody's even. The funny thing is nobody's demolishing Luka. What does demolishing even mean? All right, we have to get 100 here. Who won Thursday Night Football last night? I'm not going to lie. This one might have stumped me if it weren't for Garrett Wilson going off for my fantasy team. I didn't even realize they were playing until I got a fantasy notification. Which of these players never won an MVP award? Okay. Isaiah Thomas. Easy. Who is the only number 1 NFL draft pick to play at Fresno State? Oh, fuck. It's David Carr, isn't it? Derek Carr wasn't first overall. Okay. Woo! Where did Michael Vick play college football? Virginia Tech. That one's easy. So many college football questions, man. How much did Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 baseball just sell for? What? Okay, I just guessed it because that was such a specific number that I felt like it had to be it. Who won the World Series in 1986? I think that was the Mets. I think that was the year the Red Sox had that fuck up. All right. I'm surprised I knew that. Which MLB team has the most regular season wins this century? So since the 2000s? Kind of feel like it's the Yankees. Okay. Nice. They haven't had a losing season in forever. The NHL's last remaining undefeated team in 2024-2025. Well, it was fun while it lasted, guys. It was fun while it lasted. Sabres. Yeah. Jets is going to be my next guess. Fuck! That's maddening. That's maddening, man. mean, really? Supposed to know who's undefeated in the NHL season currently. That's my problem. Is they put in every single sport, which is fine. Basketball, I feel like I'll always get right. Baseball, I feel like I have a pretty good shot. Football, we're about 50-50. What's this? Full court press. Who's the player? You have 3 chances to get it right. Okay. College, Wake Forest. Chris Paul. Five-time NBA champion, Tim Duncan. Already guessed. I know. NHL's basically an uneducated guess. Murray State. Oh my God, they're going quick. Here we go. Can I get 10 right for the NBA? What season did Jared Jackson Jr. win Kia NBA Defensive Player of the Year? That was the 2022-2023 season. Man, this timer goes fast. How many times has Giannis Antetokounmpo been named an All-Star? Oh God. I want to almost say 8. Okay, nice. Where does Damian Lillard currently rank on NBA's all-time three-point made list? Fuck. 4th sounds right in my head. Okay, nice. Who leads the Suns in scoring this season? I'm gonna guess KD. KD's been going off this year. It's gotta be it. D-Book went off last night. Who's the Suns' all-time leader in assists? That's Steve Nash. Come on, that's easy. That's an easy one. How many seasons did Blake Griffin play with the Clippers? 10. Oh, 8. What year was Norman Powell drafted? 2015. How many teams in the Eastern Conference are currently undefeated? You have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's it. How many points did Anthony Edwards score in the first quarter versus the Mavericks? 24. And he lost! All right, I'll take it. Which one did I miss? What year Norman Powell was drafted? No, which one did I miss? Oh, how many years Blake Griffin was on the Clippers? I couldn't figure. It makes sense now that 8 is right. Order these NBA events. Rank these players by jersey. Oh, I'm so bad with jersey numbers, bro. I am so bad. Well, Ja Morant is 12. Okay, highest. Giannis is 34. KD's higher than that. Isn't Beal rocking 0 right now or something? I think this is the list. Wait, what did I fuck up? Oops. I am horrible with jersey numbers, bro. Jersey numbers are in one ear and out the other. How well do you know the game? Let's see. List the Suns starting lineup from opening night of the 2024-2025 season. All right, this one's easy. Tyus Jones. This is easy. This one's not even hard. Bradley Beal. I wish this was a little bit. Melvin Booker. Okay. Kevin Durant. Yeah, this feels like a little I thought it was going to be like more in-depth stuff. Like, what is this play called? Too easy. Every player has a journey. Whose is this? In which order did Zach Randolph play on these teams? Okay, all right, all right. That's pretty good. He started with the Blazers, didn't he? Let's see here. Where did his career end up? Did he retire on the Kings? Did he start on the Clippers? I kind of think this is it. Wow, okay. So he finished with the Kings. I think he started with the Blazers. I don't really remember a Clippers. Was Clippers end of career? Wait. He bounced around a little bit before he got comfortable with the Grizzlies. All right. That was a toughie. Those ones are always hard because I get in my own head about end of career guys. Connect these two players through common teammates. You have 3 tries to get it right. Connect these two players through a common teammate. Oh, it's somebody who's played with both Norm Powell and Luke Kennard. All right, well, let's think about that. Luke Kennard's bounced around a little bit. Norm Powell. Who's on the Clippers currently who's played with Luke Kennard? Racking my brain. How about who on the Grizzlies has played with Norman Powell? Not Marcus Smart. I'm thinking about some of their vets. Not Marcus Smart. Not Brandon Clark. They don't have a lot of vets, do they? Kawhi? Yeah, Kawhi. I think Kawhi is actually one of them. All right. Easy. Yeah, that's true. Luke Kennard did play on the Clippers. All right, that one makes that one less fun. We don't need. Give me like 2 guys, like, give me like 2 rookies or something, and then we have to figure out their vet teammates, who's been where. Or not rookies, but young guys who have been on one team. Give me like Jokic and Giannis. We have to figure out. All right. Which vets have played on the Bucks and the Nuggets? Who would be one for Jokic and Giannis? Who's played with both the Nuggets and the Bucks? All right, let's get into it. We're wasting too much time. Malik Beasley. There we go. What the fuck is up, Denny's? Where the hell is everybody? We just that upset about the Mavs? Mavs depression? All right, I guess. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, November 1st, 9:51 a.m. Central Standard Time. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. It is November. It is time to talk about some NBA basketball. We are going to talk a little bit about the games last night. Not going to spend too much time on those, but what we are going to do is just take a brief little look at the standings. where these teams, pretty much every single team has played 5 games so far this season. We will look at each team's record and decide whether or not the teams are just about right. That's about where we expect them to be, whether they'll finish higher or whether they will finish lower. Thoughts on United getting Amarim? Okay, yeah, I'm feeling it. In-season tournament winner prediction. Let's go with the Pistons. I think they catch fire. Calling it now. Suns winning the West this year. Ooh, okay. Let's look at some of the games last night then, since the Phoenix Suns did play. Just really quickly, Bucks lose yet again. They are now 1-4. Not only do they lose, but they get blown out. The Grizzlies win 122-99. A nice performance by the Memphis Grizzlies. Just a balanced scoring attack. Everybody in the starting lineup, double digits in points. Ja Morant had a triple-double. Their record when he has a triple-double now is like 11-2 or something. They're pretty much unbeatable when he plays like that. And Scottie Pippen Jr. played great in this one. Again, shout out Scottie Pippen Jr. He's been really good since he got picked up by the Grizzlies. And the Bucks, again, embarrassed themselves in pathetic fashion. Also, shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr., who basically shitted on Darvin Ham last night. Said he wanted to play hard last night since somebody on the other team's coaching staff said he couldn't defend. Well, put 1 and 2 together. It was Darvin Ham. So another disappointing and quite frankly pathetic showing by this Milwaukee Bucks team. Damian Lillard has 4 points on 1 of 12 shooting. Let's talk about the Bucks more in a bit, okay? They are 1-4 currently, and the vibes are horrendous. The Grizzlies moved to 3-3. The Rockets beat the Dallas Mavericks. A very, very bad showing by the Dallas Mavericks to start this game. Very, very, very bad showing to start this one. No two ways around it. Effort that cannot be had to start the game. It's that simple. And the Mavericks will figure it out. Luka, again, through the first 3 quarters, just does not look like Luka Doncic, but he turns it on in the fourth quarter. Does finish with 29 points. Thoughts on the reffing of the Mavs game being so bad? I thought the Mavs fouled endlessly. Yes, it's annoying, all these touch fouls being called. The Mavericks didn't adjust to the game being called like that and committed way too many touch fouls. Okay? We're not blaming the refs for every single occurrence. Cannot get killed on the offensive glass like the Dallas Mavericks did last night. The Rockets got an offensive rebound on nearly half of their misses. That is embarrassing. So, got to clean some of that stuff up if you're the Mavericks. But a nice, impressive win by the Rockets, who are now 3-2 on the season. The Spurs beat the Utah Jazz. The Jazz have yet to win. The Spurs are now 2-3. Victor Wembanyama. Yesterday on the show, we kind of said, hey, what's going on with Wemby? Is something up? Well, he goes out in this game and has a 5x5, the second of his career. 25 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 5 blocks, a plus 43. A plus 43 and an 18-point win. Just absolutely astonishing stuff, honestly. 9 of 20, 4 of 13 from 3. So yes, the Jazz, we'll talk about them more in a bit. Again, we're just kind of touching on some of these games before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show. And the Suns get an impressive come-from-behind win against the Clippers. Just a dominant second-half performance where offensively they could not be stopped. They put up 73 points in the second half of this game. They outscore the Los Angeles Clippers 73-49 in the second half. Devin Booker has 40 points. Kevin Durant played really well. Ryan Dunn, 16 points, 4 of 9 from 3, played great defense. A bunch of turnovers for James Harden, 6 turnovers, 25 points for him. Triple-double, but didn't really feel great, especially in the second half of the game. And Kevin Porter Jr. continues to struggle. So that's that. We also do have, yes, the Paolo Banchero news. Paolo Banchero is going to miss at least a month, probably 2 months, it kind of sounded like, which is quite the big deal here. Very sad, very unfortunate. We've been following the Magic closely, obviously. We love Paolo Banchero. He's had a great start to the season. The Magic look to be this very entertaining and interesting team in the Eastern Conference. But, they're going to lose Paolo for quite some time. He should be back, though. This isn't a season-ending injury. It does probably take him out of consideration for any end-of-season awards. For him, that's probably more so. That's probably more so, like All-NBA stuff potentially, rather than like a big award. Probably takes him out of being an All-Star more likely than not. Like he'll probably have 15 games played by the time the All-Star break gets here, something like that. So, unfortunate, very unfortunate for the Magic and for Paolo Banchero, who's had a great start to the season. But I'm interested to see what the Magic do. I'm interested to see what their course of action is here. If it's plugging in, Jonathan Isaac into the starting five, I kind of doubt that's it. If it's moving guys down and putting in Gary Harris, I pray to God that's not it. What I hope it is Anthony Black goes into the starting five, and then they just kind of move guys down in the rotation or in the lineup. They are a big team, so they can afford that. And who knows? I mean, Anthony Black's ready to go. I'm telling you that. From watching him play so far, he's ready. He's ready for a bigger role in the NBA. So let's see if that's what it is. But just an unfortunate injury for Paolo Banchero in the Orlando Magic. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes. We're going to go to the standings here. We're going to look at each team. There's some surprising results so far, and we're going to decide whether or not these teams are where they're at, where they probably will end up, or whether they'll be better than that. Let's start at the bottom here. We'll go to the bottom five in the Eastern Conference to start. We'll go to the bottom five in each conference. How about that? The Detroit Pistons currently sit at 1-4. They are currently last in the East, or at least tied for last. There are three teams that are 1-4 in the Eastern Conference. I think the Pistons will ultimately be better than this. I don't think that they're going to win 15 games this season, which is kind of what this is on pace to be. They've been a competitive basketball team up until this point. Cade Cunningham has looked really good in the first three quarters of the basketball game. It's just about, closing the game strong. Jaden Ivey's had an incredible start to the season. It's very encouraging if you are a Detroit Pistons fan. And the jig might be up on Jalen Duren. He's been terrible to start the season. They look much better with Isaiah Stewart in the starting five. Their starting five group with Isaiah Stewart instead of Jalen Duren, the numbers-wise, it looks really good. So maybe they stumbled into something there. I really doubt it. They're going to try to make sure. They're going to try to, it's year 3 for Jalen Duren. They're going to try to make that thing work. But they'll be better than this. But, yeah, around the bottom of the Eastern Conference is where they will end up. Not a big surprise here. The Milwaukee Bucks are also 1-4. And not only are they 1-4, folks, I think they have the worst net rating in the NBA. Okay, never mind. The Utah Jazz have a minus 17.2 net rating. That is unbelievable. But the Milwaukee Bucks have the worst net rating currently through 5 games in the Eastern Conference. Worse than the Raptors, worse than the Pistons. I mean, it's bad stuff, folks. Obviously, this is not where they will end up. They will not be a bottom 2 or 3 seed in the East. But where is their ceiling now? Where are we adjusting things? This is just a bad 5-game stretch, right? It's one of these things where if this happens in December, January, there's some concern. We're talking about it. We're like, what the fuck's going on with the Bucks? But it's not the end of the world. But the fact that it's the first 5 games of the season does make you it makes you scratch your head a little bit. It does make you wonder. Their record with Doc Rivers is putrid. I think they're 5 or 6 games below 500 with Doc Rivers, and we're up to like 50 regular season games with him. So the sample size is starting to get a little large, and I don't want to blame that for everything, but the vibes are horrendous. They are the worst vibes team in the league currently. Every other day, there is something about Giannis and potentially getting traded, hitting the timeline. Whether it's Giannis like, I don't want to be traded. I don't want to be traded. But hey, guys, get traded in this league. What the hell is that? Guys get traded. Or these reports like, hey, Giannis doesn't want to get traded, but hey, Miami or Brooklyn, if he does. I don't know. That seems like an inevitability at this point, doesn't it? Him and Damian Lillard have no chemistry to speak of whatsoever, which is a shame because that should be one of the best 2-man games in the NBA, but it's not existent as a 2-man game. Giannis doesn't set screens. No interest. Giannis just wants to post guys up. It's time we start looking at Giannis. And I mean, hey, I'm a Mavericks fan. I got to sit here and listen to everybody talk about Luka, ball hog so far this season. Yeah, Luka's been all the things that they've said for years he's been for the first time in his career. But why don't we look at Wemby or Giannis ever and like, hey, is there a reason why Damian Lillard has sucked ass? Like, can we look in the mirror maybe? Very disappointing start to the season. They're old. They're waiting for Chris Middleton to come back. That'll help them out. That'll actually help them out. But they'll be better than this. They'll be probably fighting to stay out of the play-in, if I had to guess. Toronto Raptors are 1-4 currently. Yeah, this seems about right for them, being hovering around this range. I do think that they're better than that. They are dealing with some injuries and some stuff. You know, Scotty Barnes got injured. Quickly's missed time to start the season, obviously. So, what up, Vilone? Yeah, so they're dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. But this is a team that's young, and they told us before the season started that they're going to be tanking. So, this isn't that much of a surprise. The Sixers, 1-3. Obviously, they'll be better than this. There's not really much to say about the Sixers. There's nothing to say about them until we see Embiid and Paul George on the basketball court. And until then, what is there to say, really? We've yet to see Embiid. We've yet to see Paul George. Tyrese Maxey is trying his best, man. He's trying his damnedest. You got to trust. That's right. You got to trust the process. And the Brooklyn Nets, who are 2-3, so they're currently outside of the play-in tournament. They are 11th at 2-3 with a positive net rating. I want to give them a shout out. They've been competitive. Dennis Schroeder and Cam Thomas have been really, really good to start this season, and they make some plays defensively because they do have some vets on the team. They got some guys who know what they're doing on the basketball court. This is why I ultimately walked back my take that I thought they were going to be terrible because I looked at the roster right before we started doing our previews, and I was like, they got a lot of vets. They'll win games. Nets play-in push. So I do think that their record will get worse. I think that they'll have a fire sale. I don't think you make a big trade to gain back control of your 2025 draft pick if you don't plan on bottoming out towards the end of the season. So I expect them to finish lower than where they are currently. And I would be surprised if they were a team that was in real play-in consideration come March. I just don't think that's what they want to be. It's not that they can't. I just think Dennis Schroeder will probably be on a new team. Cam Johnson might be on a new team. Dodo might be on a new team. And yeah, Dennis Schroeder's having an incredible start to the season, and that will probably cool off over time. But the Cam Thomas stuff might be legit. He's looking efficient so far. His playmaking looks much better. I mean, that all might be real. Schroeder's a good basketball player. But yeah, he's on a bit of a hot stretch currently. It's kind of all Schroeder right now. Yeah. So that's the bottom five currently in the East. I think the Bucks will climb their way out of this. The Sixers obviously will as well, but we'll see. Now let's go to the West. The bottom five in the Western Conference, starting with the Utah Jazz, who have yet to win a game. They have a -17 net rating. They're putrid, folks. They are putrid. The last few years we've sort of discussed, man, why are the Jazz just kind of lingering around this 500 area until the end of the season where they bottom out? Why don't they just bottom out from the beginning and try to get some real high-end talent on the team? Well, don't worry. That year has come. They are awful. They are terrible. And it's cool, That's what they need to be. But I will say, you look around, Taylor Hendricks' injury is obviously awful. You wanted to see something out of him this season. He's not. He's done for the year already. Keontae George looks terrible. Keontae George looks awful. I don't even know what to make of what Keontae George looks like currently. And what's crazier is I think there's a world where they get worse than this. I don't know how it's possible to get worse. Obviously, they'll win some games. They're a well-coached team. They are. But they'll get worse. Clarkson might get traded. Sexton might get traded. John Collins, maybe. I don't know. But, man, tough start to the season. That much is certain. The worst part is they've had 4 home games. 4 of their 5 games have been in Utah, which is a pretty difficult place to play. And they're just getting shitted on. So they'll be towards the bottom of the league for sure. San Antonio Spurs, they are currently 14th, 2-3. They've got a win against this lowly putrid Utah Jazz team, as well as a win against the Houston Rockets. Their losses are to the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks. Who's the third team? The Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, this is where they will be. I think I've predicted the Spurs to finish 13th in the conference. This feels about right. It's going to be kind of tough sledding this year as they figure some more stuff out. Their offense is still not ready to be anywhere near competitive. Wemby, I think we'll figure some stuff out as the season goes along. It's kind of been a slow start to him, slow start to his season, although he did have a great game last night. But Wemby will have, Wemby will have a better performance as he gets more comfortable, gets into better playing shape. That looks like that might be a bit of a problem for him right now. And Devin Vassell's coming back soon. So they'll be better. Or, no, they'll be right around here. I think finishing, 6 or 7 games below 500 might be enough for you to be the 13th seed in this Western Conference. Absolutely. The Clippers are 2-3. They're also currently outside of the play-in picture. Wow. Man, this is a little bit brutal because there's going to be some good teams that end up, or at least some competitive teams that end up not in the play-in picture. And the Clippers are probably going to be a team like that. Just think offensively, they're really kind of riding. They're 2-3 right now. And a lot of that is Norman Powell playing really, really well. And I don't know, maybe Norman Powell can play at this level for a full season. He's a good basketball player. But I kind of find that hard to believe. So much is being asked of James Harden at his age. I'm worried that's not going to be a recipe for success. But I will say, their defense is good. Their defense is frisky. And they'll be a tough team to play all season long. They'll be a tough team to play all season long, and the NBA better be rooting for them. The NBA better be rooting like hell for the Los Angeles Clippers. That way they don't gift wrap the Oklahoma City Thunder a top 10 draft pick. By the way, they've yet to win in the Intuit Dome. I was watching their game last night against the Suns. A lot of empty seats. A lot of empty seats in that stadium. That's been the case for all 3 games I've watched. I don't know what the hell's going on, but a lot of empty seats in that arena. Do you think OKC would trade for Giannis? No, I don't. I think that's too big of a move for them, actually. I don't think that's something they would do. New Orleans Pelicans, 2-3. Very disappointing start to their season. We said the Bucks probably had the most fucked vibes in the entire NBA. The Pelicans' vibes are by far the worst in the Western Conference. That much is certain. Their net rating currently through 5 games, second worst in the West. I predicted them to not make the play-in tournament this year. I'm going to say this is probably about where they are, honestly. They're 2-3, so they're only a game below 500. They've yet to really look impressive at all this season. They're already dealing with injuries. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, DeJounte Murray, obviously. And what's crazy is the center position isn't even like the root of all of their problems, I feel like, which I thought it would be. It's really been inconsistent play from their stars. Zion has not been good to start the season. Brandon Ingram's kind of all over the map. He started good to start the season, but his body language is awful. And they're just a very underwhelming team. Offensively, they struggle mightily. They just play an archaic style of basketball, man. They need to shoot more threes. They don't shoot any threes. It's archaic. And in the modern NBA, it's not a recipe for success. And then closing out this bottom 5 group, we have the Portland Trailblazers, who are 2-3. This is about where I think they are. They'll be frisky. They'll be a competitive team. They'll be a team where you got to show up for to beat. You can't just walk into the stadium and expect to beat them. But they'll be towards the bottom of the West, absolutely. But hey, there's some fun young stuff going on there. Scoot Henderson is showing some signs of life. So that's nice. Klingon looks really solid. Doesn't play a lot of minutes, but when he gets out there, he makes an instant impact. You like to see that. Tumani Kamara is showing some things offensively. That's pretty encouraging. It is kind of fun watching Ayton shoot threes. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So they got some fun stuff going on. But yeah, they'll be towards the bottom. I kind of feel like this, if the season just ended and this was the 5 teams outside of the play-in in the West and everyone else in the play-in, that wouldn't surprise me at all. In fact, this is exactly what I predicted. It would be these teams. So, interesting. Let's go to the play-in. Teams in the play-in. Let's start in the East. Indiana Pacers are currently the 10th seed at 2-3. They'll be better than this. A nice win against the Boston Celtics. Tyrese Halliburton's still kind of struggling at the gates here. Some weird rotational stuff. Rick trying to figure some stuff out. Nimhard is having knee tendonitis. I think that might be a blessing in disguise because that just means Benedict Mathurin will play more basketball, which will be good for them. They're better than 2-3, but I predicted them to be the 4 seed this season. I think they could still reach that, actually. So I think they'll actually end up being higher than this. Absolutely. I think they'll be in the top 5 mix by the end of the season. The Atlanta Hawks are the 9 seed at 2-3. This seems about right. I think they'll be a bottom-end playing team. Their defense is just so awful. So awful. And granted, they've been without some of their key defensive pieces for a while now. DeAndre Hunter's missed some time. Dyson Daniels has missed some time. Bogdan has missed some time. But they're going to be a bad defensive team. They'll score some points. They will score some points. I thought the Hawks were underrated until they dropped 2 in a row to the Wizards. Yeah, they have also lost 2 straight games to the Washington Wizards. So we're talking about them currently at a bad time. The Charlotte Hornets are the 8th seed currently at 2-2. Yeah, for sure. I think this will probably be a play-in team this year. As long as LaMelo Ball stays healthy. LaMelo's playing at an all-star level. We still have yet to see Mark Williams. He's very impactful for them. He just needs to be on the basketball court. Trey Mann's having a 6th man of the year quality start to the season. And they're a very, very fun basketball team to watch. I'm just enamored by them. Every night when they're on League Pass, I try to tell myself, all right, let's watch some more teams. Let's bounce around the league a little bit more. Let's focus on this team or this team. We haven't watched them yet, or we haven't seen them play in a couple of days. Let's watch them. And yet I always get sucked into the fucking Hornets. And it's why? It's because they're in fun games always. They are constantly in fun basketball games. And you just have to tune in to see what LaMelo Ball's cooking up. I mean, you just have to. Pray LaMelo stays healthy. He's top 3 entertainment in the NBA. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now at the 199, Bulls finishing top 5 in the East. Ooh, that's spicy. I highly doubt it. Speaking of highly doubting something. 7th seed currently is the Washington Wizards, who again have won 2 consecutive games against the Atlanta Hawks. Big shout out to Bilal Coulibaly. If you guys missed that video on my channel, go and check it out. I dropped a video about Coulibaly yesterday. They'll be worse than this, obviously. They're not a playing team. I think they'll be the bottom of the league, bottom of the East. I do think by the end of it, they will be the worst team in the Eastern Conference, just talent-wise. But they might have stumbled. Hey, honestly, if I'm them, I know Kyle Kuzma, hey, man, it's tough. It's tough to be a star. I'm in air quoting if you're not watching. A star on a, shitty team, and he wanted to stay there, and he took money, and he re-signed there, whatever. I'm trading him first chance I get. I think the team is better. I think the team's honestly more competitive. I think the flow of the game is better if he's, not mucking things up and their young guys are just doing young guy shit. Right? SARS look good defensively, so that's encouraging for you. Offensively, it's been a struggle so far, but that we kind of expected that. But SARS look good defensively. Again, Coulibaly's looked really, really good to start the season. That's really encouraging. I mean, he looks great to start the season. That's very encouraging. And yeah, your young guys look good. I mean, that's the promising stuff if you're the Wizards. I don't think that they'll be a playing team. I think they'll be worse in the Eastern Conference. I still think that to start the season. So, but yeah, kudos to them. I mean, 2-2. Granted, both of those wins against the Hawks, so I don't know what really to make of it. But yeah, they'll be finishing lower than this. The Eastern Conference will look much different by the end of the season than it does right now. The Western Conference playing teams. We have the Denver Nuggets as the 10th seed at 2-2. They'll finish better than this. They'll figure some stuff out. But I do think they'll be fighting to stay out of the play-in tournament. Absolutely. I think that's what we can expect for them for the remainder of this season. Just look around the Western Conference. Talent-wise, they have maybe the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, who's playing like the best player in the world to start the season. Absolutely. But outside of that, talent-wise, it's a struggle compared to every other team. We're still, Jamal Murray has shown some signs of life, so that's encouraging. But their bench depth obviously is an area for concern. Defensively, they've looked really bad to start this season. And again, they're 2-2. Got smacked by the Thunder. Lost a heartbreaking overtime game to the Clippers. And needed overtime. Would that game go to overtime, the Clippers game? Have they played in 3 overtime games? Have 3 of their 4 games been overtime? Or was the Clippers? No, the Clippers wasn't overtime, was it? And their 2 wins, though, they needed overtime against the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. 2 teams that I don't think are very good. So, yeah, I think this will be a team fighting for a play-in spot for most of the season. At number 9, Sacramento Kings. They are 2-2 as well. They started the season 0-2. They've won their last 2, both in blowout fashion against bad teams. So, props to them for taking care of business. This is about where I think they'll be. I think they'll be around a play-in spot. So, about the season start that I expected from Sacramento, who, shout out to DeMar DeRozan. He looks good in his new role with the Kings. He's playing well there. Their offense looks good. So, pretty good start for them. It's about what I expected. The Timberwolves are the 8th seed, currently at 2-2. They'll finish better than this. They'll be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference by the end of the season. Stamp it, bookmark it, whatever the fuck you want to do. Absolutely, they'll be a top 5 team, top 3 team in the West by the end of the season. Anthony Edwards is on a burner so far from 3. They're still kind of figuring out some stuff. Dante DiVincenzo has been ice cold to start the season. He'll get hot. He'll figure it out. Julius Randle's been really good for them. You know, they've only played 4 games. One of those was a loss to the Mavericks, where the Mavericks just you know, it's what we saw in the Western Conference Finals, pretty much. Who was their other loss? What other game did they lose? Oh, that's right. They lost to the Lakers on opening night. That's right. But yeah, they'll figure it out. They'll be higher than this, absolutely. And then the Grizzlies, who have played 6 games, the most games in the NBA so far. They are 3-3. This is about where I think that they'll be. I think I predicted them to finish 7th in the West. I think that this will be it. They're figuring stuff out. I think that they're prioritizing health early on to start the season. That's going to lead to some losses. That's going to lead to some head-scratching decisions by Taylor Jenkins and the coaching staff, like, you know, Jaren Jackson Jr. is on a minute restriction. So guys like Jake LaRavia, who they didn't even pick up his option. They didn't even pick up Jake LaRavia's 4th-year option. By the way, that's interesting. We've seen a lot of teams yesterday that just let these bust first-round picks walk pretty much. But anyways, Jake LaRavia didn't pick up his option. He's getting extended minutes because of their shortened rotation. But John Morant was awesome last night. He's still shaking off some rust. But he was incredible last night. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been pretty good. Granted, he is on a minute restriction. And they're still waiting for some guys to come back. But I think they'll ultimately be around here, a 7th seed. That makes sense to me. This is about where they'll be. All right. The top 6 in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat are somehow the 6th seed at 2-2. They just scream play-in team to me. Absolutely scream play-in team. They scream to me a team that might even finish worse than that. The vibes are not good there. Jimmy's just been lethargic as fuck to start this season. And Jesus Christ. And they could trade Jimmy, honest to God. I don't think that's an impossibility, that Jimmy's on a new team by the trade deadline. I really don't. So I do not think they'll be a top 6 team. So I'm saying they'll finish worse than where they're at currently. Tyler Hero's had been great to start the season, though. Shout out to Tyler Hero. Shout out to Tyler Hero. The Knicks are the 5 seed at 2-2. Speaking of the Heat, the Knicks just beat the Heat. A dominant second-half performance. The Knicks will finish higher than this. I fully think that they'll be very worse, a top 3 seed by the end of this season. I predicted them to finish 2nd. I don't know. The Cavs might take that spot, but the Knicks will finish higher than the 5 seed for sure. They're figuring some stuff out. Cat just had his best game as a member of the New York Knicks by a country mile, and I think that'll help them get the ball rolling on that front. I don't see why a contender would give up assets for Butler. Yeah, I don't really either. It's going to be an interesting thing to see. I don't know what happens for him, honestly. The Magic are the 4th seed currently at 3-2. We talked earlier about Paolo Banchero, his injury. Very unfortunate timing. I still think that they'll win games without him. Their ceiling isn't as high without him, but he'll be back. I mean, he'll be back by January, February, it sounds like. So no real problems there. Unfortunately, the Magic won't finish top 4 with Banchero's injury. And yeah, I do think this might knock them out of the top 4 a little bit. But what did I predicted them to be 6th entering the season. I think that's about where they'll end up. So I think they'll be a top 6 seed still, despite Paolo's injury. Magic lost the Bulls without Lonzo. Yeah, well, the Bulls might be a little bit friskier than we think. Speak of the devil. The Bulls are currently the 3 seed. Stop the count. They've been kind of a fun team to watch, honestly. They're bombing threes. They're playing with some pace. Levine looks good physically. Alex Ball. I was about to say Alex Ball, which is crazy because I was trying to say Josh Giddey. I wasn't about to say Alex Caruso nor Lonzo Ball. I was about to say Josh Giddey, and Alex Ball is what came out of my mouth. Oh, man. Josh Giddey has played pretty well for them so far. But they'll finish worse than this. But I do think they'll be in the play-in hunt. Absolutely. I think that they'll be a team that's competing for a play-in spot. 100%. They could also be a team that loses their next 7 games. P. Giddy. That's an insane nickname. The Celtics are 4-1. They're the 2 seed. What needs to be said about them? They're incredible. And the Cavs are 5-0. The best point differential in the NBA. No, I'm sorry. That actually belongs to the Golden State Warriors currently, but the second best, the best in the Eastern Conference. Okay, yeah, I'm in. Obviously, they're not going to go 82-0. At least I don't think so. They're not going to go 82-0. But they absolutely could be the 2 seed in the East. Absolutely. So I'm bought in. They look great. They have that continuity. I mean, they didn't really make any roster changes at all. They did make a coaching change. Kenny Atkinson's got those boys playing, moving the ball around. Their offense looks great. Could they be the 1 seed? I don't think so, man. I really don't. I still think the Celtics are going to go over 60 wins this year. I just don't think the Cavs can get to that point. If the Cavs get the 1 seed, it would be more of a what the hell happened with Boston thing to me. You know, and that's not a knock on the Cavs. It's just like, what? Wait, Boston only won 53 games type of thing. And I don't see that happening. But they look incredible to start the season. Jared Allen looks awesome. Mobley looks awesome. Yeah, good for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They look to me like the second best team in the East pretty comfortably to start this season. So good for them. Let's head back out west. The Mavericks are currently the 6th seed at 3-2. The Mavs will be better than this, absolutely. I do think that they'll be a top 4 seed. I think they'll have home court advantage in the first round at the very least. Just got to clean up some stuff. You know, they complete that comeback last night. They're 4-1. We're talking differently about them, but 3-2. They got to clean up some stuff. You know, their energy and attention to detail and focus level has to be higher at the start of games. Just full stop. That's it. That's all there is to say. Yeah, Mavs defenses look good at times. The rebounding's been a concern, and I think a lot of it is just, again, lack of attention to detail and focus. And obviously, being 3-2, with Luka having, inarguably, probably the worst 5-game stretch of his career, is pretty impressive. Allen has more blocks than missed shots in the first 5 games. Yeah, he's playing like an all-star, absolutely. The Lakers are currently the 5 seed at 3-2, despite having a negative point differential. They have lost 2 straight games. Remember, they started the season 3-0. They have now lost 2 in a row. Granted, they've had a tough start to this season schedule-wise. They just got blasted by the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers are blasting everybody to start the season. They lose a close game to the Suns, in which, you know, LeBron has one of the worst games of his life, which is saying a lot because he's been in the league for so long, but that was absolutely one of the worst games of his life in that game against Phoenix. And then 3 impressive wins against the Timberwolves, Suns, and Sacramento Kings, teams that are pretty good. So I think this is about where the Lakers are at. I think that they'll be fighting, you know, for a 5-6 seed, assuming that they stay healthy. With, you know, a couple of losses here and there might push them into the play-in tournament. But yeah, I think this is about where they're at. They've had an impressive start to the season, and we'll see how they build on it. The Rockets are the 4 seed at 3-2. I think this is about where they are, honest to God. I predicted them to finish as the 6th seed. I think that they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. Not a play-in spot, a playoff spot. They have, a ton of talent on their team. They're still trying to figure out where all the pieces fit. But Jalen Green's been really good to start this season. I think this is his breakout year. Absolutely. They've got a lot of great athletes. Their size can give teams problems. We saw that against the Mavericks last night. And they'll catch some teams slipping. And yeah, they are a well-coached basketball team. So I do think that this is a Rockets team that'll finish 6 seed, 5 seed. So shout out to them. Good start to the season. Some bad losses. They lose to the Hornets on their first game of the season. That one was a little bit surprising. They lose to the Spurs. That was a feisty game. But a nice win against the Mavs. They beat the Spurs. A nice kind of crazy come from behind second half rout of the Grizzlies, which hasn't been that surprising because that's what the Grizzlies have been all season long. But hey. And then we have the top 3 seeds. The Warriors will come back down to earth, absolutely. They're a good basketball team, though. And I don't know, that 6th seed, they absolutely could be fighting for it, but they will come back down to earth. Just an unreal shooting start to the season for this Golden State Warriors team. That'll come back down a little bit. And yeah, their schedule has been kind of crazy to start the season. Portland, Utah, Clippers, Pelicans. And the Pelicans don't look like a good basketball team whatsoever currently. Utah looks awful, and Portland's going to be bad. Now, granted, they're shitting on all of these teams, and they haven't had Steph Curry the last 2 games. So shout out to them. But the schedule tightens up a little bit here, and I'm interested to see what they look like after a tougher stretch of play on their schedule. But their offense looks good. Buddy Hield looks awesome. Brandon Podziemski looks awesome heading into year 2. Lindy Waters has come in and looked really good. And defensively, they look incredible. They look really good defensively. They're flying around the court. Lots of energy, making things happen on the defensive end. Everybody's playing on a string. So shout out to them. Great start to the season. And maybe they keep it up. I don't know, but they'll come back down to earth a tad bit for sure. I'm just interested to see what they look like after a tougher stretch of games. Lindy's got that strap on him. That's true. The Suns are the 2 seed currently at 4-1. I absolutely think this is where they will be competing to be at. I think that they're going to be competing to be a home court advantage team, a team that is fighting maybe even be the 2 seed in the West. They're playing really well so far. What's more encouraging to me is they're closing out games. That was something that they were historically bad at last year, which made no sense whatsoever. But they're closing out games so far this year. Ryan Dunn looks incredible. If they could just somehow find a center, I don't know how. Conventional wisdom would tell you they don't have any assets at all. They cannot go out and just find another center. But we've said that about them how many times, and they just seem to always fucking find guys. Oh, they can't fix their depth. They go out and get Grayson Allen, who's been huge for them. They go out and they get Royce O'Neal, who's been huge for them. They go out and they draft Ryan Dunn, who's been great for them. They get Tyus Jones for the minimum. They get Monte Morris for the minimum. They get Mason Plumlee for the minimum, who's been good for them because Nurkic is ass. So I don't know, man. Maybe they find somebody. Maybe they figure out a way. I am high on the Suns, absolutely. I picked them to finish 4th, I think, in the West. Nurkic might be the worst starter in the entire league. Yeah, being in our chat signed a 2-way with the Suns, and they're still making it happen. But they look really good, and they're going to be a good basketball team. So this is where they will be at. And the Thunder are 4-0. What's interesting is their offense hasn't even been good yet, the Thunder, but their defense is unbelievable. 94 points per game so far, given up. They've been far and away the best team defensively. And I will say, if we're going to say this about the Warriors, we have to say this about the Thunder. They've had a very easy start to the season, schedule-wise. But this is about where we expected them to be at, and it's where they are at. They blow out the Nuggets on opening night. That's a great win in Denver. No two ways around it. The Nuggets might not be that good this year or that great, but that's a great win. And then Chicago, who's kind of frisky. Atlanta, who, they're a little frisky, I guess, as well. The Atlanta game actually told me quite a bit. Because that game was close going into the third quarter, and then the Thunder just flipped a switch. And that's when you know a great team is great. When they just find this switch that they can flip on at a moment's notice. And then they beat the Spurs. And you look at their schedule. Portland, God bless you, Portland. Clippers, that should be a win. Orlando, without Paolo. Schedule doesn't really tighten up for a while. Still absolutely believe that this barking thing will be their downfall. Absolutely. It's hilarious Draymond said that. I thought that was a Sid Tell tweet. I really did think that was a Sid Tell tweet. That's so funny that Draymond said that after I've been saying that for the last week or so. That I honest to God think that this barking thing that they have going on is preventing me from thinking that they'll win a championship. Because I don't remember a team. And look, I think people misinterpreted what Draymond said and maybe what I'm saying. Because people are like, oh, wait, what? You think their chemistry's too good? Their chemistry's too good? That's not what anyone's saying. Saying that that's not serious. There's not enough killer there. There's got to be some more killer, man. Honestly. Cut the barking shit out. Cut it out. That's me on my hater shit today. That's me on my hater shit. The only reason I think Dallas can beat OKC in 7 is because Luka is that guy. Yeah. Sorry you can't handle the dogs. Woof, 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 woof. All right, that's pretty much all I got today. It's going to be a shorter episode, but yeah. I'm considering what we're going to do moving forward with the show. I think we might go every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just kind of seems like it might be the play moving forward. Just every single day is a lot. How do you guys feel about that? 2 days in a row of slightly hating on OKC having fun and being unique. I'm a hater, man. No, you guys still want every day stream? All right. Been enjoying the early show though. It's a pre-workout ritual. All right. Hey, okay, man. You guys like it. What are you doing after this, my sweet, sexy prince? I'm gonna be working on a video about the Mavericks and Rockets game last night. Let's talk really quickly here about the hitting the gym. I'll be hitting the gym later for sure. Let's talk about the games tonight. Busy slate of games. I looked at it earlier. Not a great slate of games. You have the Celtics and the Hornets in Charlotte. Why do I think that has the potential to be fun? Why do I feel like that has the potential to be fun? The Magic and the Cavaliers in Cleveland. Oh, man. If Paolo was healthy, this would be must fucking watch TV. And it's still going to be must watch TV. A rematch of the first round series between these two teams. Knicks and Pistons in Detroit. Kings and Hawks in Atlanta. That could be a fun game. Bulls and Nets in Brooklyn. Oh, battle of the feisty teams to start the season. Lakers and Raptors in Toronto. Pacers and Pelicans. One team is going to leave that game feeling even worse about their start to the season. Nuggets and Timberwolves on ESPN. That's fun. And Thunder and Trailblazers. I'm pretty sure I'll be on playback.tv tonight. Playback.tv/slightly biased. I'm pretty sure. Not 100% sure just yet. I would say check in around 7 to see if I have scheduled a stream. Because I'll probably go live around 7:30 or 8 if I were to go live. Keep an eye out. If you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you leave a 5-star ranking review. 5 stars. Can Luka win the MVP this season or is he done? No, he can still win MVP. He can definitely still win MVP. How do you feel about those Rockets? They look good, man. I feel like they should trade Shinguini. I like Jalen Green more than Shinguini. Absolutely. What does he need to do to win MVP? Play better? That's it. We talked about the Bucks a little bit, yeah. All right. Let me go work on this video. Is that all right with you guys? Thank you all for coming out. Let's get a good intro. I don't have an intro in the brain currently. I don't want to force them. All right, folks. Thank you all for coming out. All of the OGs. You guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Friday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. We will be live again on slightly early on Monday. We're not doing weekend shows. Slightly Tux, slightly big business will come back at some point for sure. Thank you all for coming out. Love you all very much. Make sure you guys hype up and gas up videos whenever they drop. And again, check in around 7 o'clock on playback.tv/highlightbites to see if I've scheduled a stream. Vids drop usually around 2 or 3 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that. About 4 or 5 hours from now. Love you all. Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.